Welcome to another DVD update slash movie reviews. This is going to be, as usual, the stuff that I've been watching the most recently. I just want to mention a few things before. First of all, I have a lot of stuff. Well, okay, there's an unboxing video coming up, so I just want to sort of let you know. I've ordered a lot of stuff, and I've done one of these obsessively large or DVD slash Blu-ray purchases once again over the internet, and I just want to wait for everything to arrive, and it's very difficult. It's like my fingers, they're really itching. I want to open some of them, but I'm not, because I want to wait for some of the other stuff to arrive. I mean, everything didn't necessarily need to arrive. It's okay if a few things didn't come up or it didn't arrive in time. But there are two things that I really would like to show you in this video that are awesome. Two great editions, and they haven't arrived yet. And they should have arrived by now. So I'm kind of waiting a little longer. If they end up being a lot late, then I'm just gonna have to do the video anyway, and do a sort of a slight sequel afterwards, or sequel, but you know what I mean, a follow-up. Those two items, an unboxing on their own, will be a pretty sweet unboxing if you ask me. But I'm gonna see if they arrive anytime soon, and hopefully I'll make that massive update hopefully this week. But I mean, I was sure that it was gonna be this week, but then they're not arriving, so well, we'll see what happens. But just so you know, it's coming. If not this week, then next week for sure. Next thing I was gonna say is that I almost fucking died. Right now, it doesn't matter actually, but it's 4:40 p.m. I just got home from school. I was gonna film this video actually when I was home on lunch break, but the battery was low and I had to charge it, so I didn't have time. So now I am, you know, a little more tired, a little more sweaty, and a little closer to having died. Well, I'm not gonna be dramatic, but it was pretty scary actually. There was this guy. I'm on my bike, right, and there's this crossing. I don't know if it's a pelican or zebra crossing, or maybe you just call them that in Britain or whatever. But it's this crossing, and there's lights, and we had green light. I'm on my bike, so you know, green light. Okay, time for me to go across the street, because I wait for the green light before I cross the street, but not always. But this time I did, and yeah, it was real luck that you have a little something called instinct, because I hit my brakes as hard as I could without even realizing what happened. But this car just flew by across me, and there were two people here too. Sorry if I'm talking too close to the camera or to the microphone. I realized I did that mistake last time, and it was annoying to listen to me, you know, doing that. But anyway, and he was driving in, I don't know, 30-40 kilometers an hour across the crossing. He had a red light, we had a green light. I don't know what he was thinking. And I mean, my back tire just flew up in the air. It was this close, well, not this close, but really close to getting hit by that car. And I don't know what would have happened if I did, to be honest, but because he was reckless maniac. I mean, wow. I've experienced once before that a car has almost hit me like that, but this was worse, and this was none of my fault. Last time was actually partly my fault. This time, if I would have been hit, then he would have been in serious trouble. I mean, anyway, I just thought that I'd mention that, because when you experience something like that, and you film a video right after, for some reason, well, at least I feel like mentioning it. Anyway, sorry, but now time for the update. I have a lot of stuff to go, well, not a lot, but I tend to take my time, as have been proven already, because I haven't even started. But anyway, Detachment. Great cast in this movie, as you can see here. And I have been wanting to see this movie for a little while now. Thought it was a good movie, but I have to say that there's something kind of like a tragedy, or something very melodramatic that happens in the ending, which I was not a fan of. Did not like where they took this movie in the ending. Except for that, it was good. So to me, it was just kind of unfortunate that they did that. I wasn't a fan of it, but nonetheless, it's a good movie and it has a great cast. Then we have a movie that, for the first time in a very long time, I turned it off. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother. Gene Wilder and Marty Feldman have been interested in this for a while, really, and I turned it off. Why did I turn it off? Well, because I thought that it didn't make any sense, to be honest. I wasn't really in the mood for this, but I could not get into this. I was like, what is going on? I thought it was strange, the development of the story and the plot, and something was off, and I did not feel like watching another hour of that, so I turned it off. And I didn't plan on finishing it, but I thought that, well, maybe I'll give it another try later on, but I have not done so. And I don't believe that I will either. Maybe sometime in the future, but I don't know. I just was not a big fan of this, unfortunately. I'm starting with the Blu-rays, by the way. I only have 4, but Bullets Over Broadway. These two, they're actually well, this I believe is a Danish release, and this might be a Norwegian, because I think that's a Norwegian symbol. And yes, these have the same symbol right there, and this I believe is a Danish rating system or whatever. However, this is a Swedish or a Scandinavian release, because it has all languages on the back. But anyway, this is, I guess, a Norwegian release. Bullets Over Broadway by Woody Allen. Not with Woody Allen, however, but it has a good cast nonetheless. And Jim Broadbent is in this, playing a great part. John Cusack, Chess Palminteri. The relationship the chemistry between the two of them is really one of the most important things of the movie. And Mary Louise Parker, whom I didn't really recognize until the ending. I knew she was going to be in the movie, but I didn't realize that was her. Somehow, I didn't realize that it was her until the ending. Diane Wiest, did she win an Oscar for this? I believe she possibly did, but I'm not sure. But I prefer her in like Hannah and Her Sisters, in those type of roles. She's like a diva in this one, real narcissistic. And anyway, yeah, this was a great Woody Allen movie, pretty unusual Woody Allen movie. I love the title too, Bullets Over Broadway. As far as I understood it, this doesn't take place on Broadway. They're writing a play in the 1920s, and the mob is connected. The mob is funding it, I think, and in return, the writer John Cusack and everybody else involved, they agree that this awful actress will be in the movie because she is close to this whatever his name was, and he is funding it, and he's in the mob. So yeah, you know, it's a kind of a gangster comedy, I guess. Slight romantic comedy too, because you know it's Woody Allen. So, but sorry, I got a little off track. But I forgot what I was saying before. But this is a great movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Great script, and once again, Jim Broadbent, loved him in this movie. He was great. Then the last Blu-ray, City of the Living Dead. Bought this a while back, along with The Beyond and the Zombie Flesh Eaters. The last one I had seen before, The Beyond, I had not, and I watched them pretty shortly after buying them. But this one I did not feel like watching, so I waited until just a couple days ago to watch it. But I really did enjoy this, and you know, these Arrow releases, they're nice, but they're nothing special by now, so I won't really go into detail. But I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. The plot, to me, it actually seems obvious that this movie is not about the plot. It's about, you know, just the visuals, the framing and the cinematography and the scenery and everything like that. The visuals, simply everything that is nice to look at, and well, everything that is not so nice to look at, but which is done very well, because you know, his Lucio Fulci's zombie movies are very you know, gross, disgusting, you know, off-putting, and that's just what they're supposed to be, and that's you know, yeah, I'm telling you, the visuals, it's what's great about it. Yeah. Oops. What else? There was something else I wanted to say about this, but now I can't remember. So let's move on. Actually, let's do 2 TV shows right now, and then I'll do the DVDs afterwards. Well, these are DVDs, but they're TV shows. Anything But Love. It says Volume 1. It's not Season 1 or anything. It's, I think, the first 2 seasons. And if I'm not wrong, this show had 4 seasons. But it does not have a Volume 2, so this is the... Well, I don't think it has a Volume 2, so as far as I'm aware, this is the only release of the show. But I might be wrong. But I got this months ago, and I watched it very sporadically. There are 28 episodes here, if you could tell that before when I showed you the... Well... but I did not watch all of them. However, I did watch pretty many of them. I watched somewhere above 20, 22 maybe. So there were only a couple episodes left for me to watch, but I just felt that, well, I'm not enjoying the show that much, and if I've seen this much of the show, well, I might as well continue. But on the other hand, if I've seen this much, then I just don't think that I'm gonna start liking it. From the last 6 episodes, I just think that the characters are a little too unmemorable, and the episodes, they're too much of the same. They're too alike, and not really that much happens. They blend into each other, and the show is very generic. It has an opening song which is very cheesy, but which, if the show would have been done right with the romance and stuff, it could have been very effective. But unfortunately, it is not, because it's about these two working in this newspaper or magazine. Well, I'm sure it says something here. Well, it just says that they're co-workers, but they work with some sort of magazine or newspaper, and they write stories for that. And lots of deadlines and stuff like that. And I had heard that there was supposed to be some sort of romance going on between them, some sort of insecure romance, which is really not the case, because it seems like they both know where they have each other and they're friends. And sure, there's some slight romantic elements, but it's nothing like that, insecure love or whatever that I thought was going to be the case. I don't really care. It's just that it wasn't done very well. I don't know. A few episodes I enjoyed, but for the most of it, not a great show, unfortunately. So, not a big loss. That's all there is on DVD. Then we got Coupling. This is a great show. This is the complete series, 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see here, this is the cast, obviously. However, this guy, he's only in the 4th season, or the fourth series, because Jeff, this guy, he left. And I think that was because he didn't want to be... He didn't want to restrict himself, is that the word? He didn't want to just do this part. He's I'm an actor. I don't want to do just this part. I mean, it doesn't seem like he did to be arrogant or anything. I think that was the reason, that he didn't want to be only associated with this character. He wanted to move on to other things or something like that. Kind of like what Jason Segel said years ago, but he's continued to do it anyway. But anyway, with How I Met Your Mother, that is, of course. Oh well. As I said, so he leaves the show after the 3 first series, and I thought he was one of the funnier characters. After he leaves, the sort of formula of the episodes changed somewhat. Most of the episodes before that, it's kind of like if you've seen the show Grounded for Life. That the setup of that show, every episode is something has happened, and they tell the story of what happened, and the viewer little by little gets to know what actually did happen through flashbacks or whatever. It's kind of like that here too, although it's done a little bit more creatively. Each episode tends to have some sort of creative or innovative aspect to it, and which I appreciate. But yeah, and they sort of do a little bit of that in the last series as well, but not that much, and the episodes are a lot more lame after he leaves, and it's not great anymore. But that is only for one series, so there are still 3 series before that which are great. So I would recommend this show for sure. I've always heard it being referred to as the British Friends, which is a little kind of similar. While French is very focused on relationships and sex, this one takes that to a whole nother level. Each episode is about sex, but I feel like it's similar to Friends, but it's equally similar to something like Seinfeld, if you ask me. But it's kind of like a mix between there, if you want to make a mix between the two of them, and throwing in a little bit of Grounded for Life, although that's a bit not a show as well known. But anyway, let's continue. I would recommend this show for sure. A movie called The Addiction. Really, she's the main character here, Lily Taylor, I guess. This girl, I believe she's the one who bites her in the beginning. That's not a spoiler. I think that's her, and she's barely in the movie. She's in the movie for that scene, but then she's not really in the movie anymore. And Christopher Walken, they're putting his face here because he's really famous. He's not in the movie for more than 5 minutes. But this is a good, pretty philosophical movie about she gets bitten by a vampire, or well, yeah, and she gets